Okay, the next problem that would be on your task would be something similar to 16.4, which was what you actually did for one of your dry labs on the buffer when you had to tell me describe how to make a buffer. However, in this time, I'm just going to give you everything that you need, and so you just have to tell me how many grams of, in this case, it would be like this, the salt. And I'll tell you, on the test, it will be the salt. It won't be the acid. So you can look at this. This is phosphoric acid, but phosphoric acid is polyprotic, so you can have more than one proton come off. And so how I'm showing it is that the acid is the H2PO4 minus, and then you'll lose a hydrogen to make the sodium salt, the Na2HPO4, and so that's the salt that you're looking at. So you know that your acid has one more proton. The acid gives up the proton, so you should be able to identify your salt versus your acid if you were given a problem similar to this. Okay, so we want to know how many grams of that salt should be added to 1 liter of 1 molar of your acid to make a pH of a buffer of 7.4. And because you're adding the salt to a liquid acid, I'm just saying ignore the volume change due to the addition of the salt. And the Ka is given, and it's of the acid. And so that, again, would help you understand which one would be the salt and which one would be the acid. So the pH equals the pKa plus the log of the salt of the conjugate base, which is the salt, divided by the acid. And so I just plug in what's been given. 7.4 equals 7.21 plus the log of the conjugate base divided by concentration divided by the concentration of the acid, which I gave to you as 1 molar. And so basically 7.4 minus 7.21 is 0.19. Then I have on the right side log of the salt concentration divided by the acid concentration of 1. And so to solve for the salt concentration, that's what I'm doing, you would take the anti-log of both sides, and taking the anti-log will leave you with the log of that salt concentration divided by 1 and 10 to the 0.19 on the left side. And so 10 to the 0.19 is 1.55, and that is my salt concentration. So now I have my salt concentration, but I ask how many grams of the salt would you need. So I need to know the molar mass of my salt, and I need to know the volume that it will be going into. So once the 1.55 moles per liter it's going into 1 liter, so that's 1.55 moles that I have. My molar mass of my sodium phosphate is 142, so I'm going to multiply 1.55 moles times 142. That gives me 220 grams of that sodium phosphate that I'm adding to 1 liter of my acid.